I made it again. I don't know how I get through every time. I wish I knew why they were trying to keep me out, but I wish I knew who they were. Today, we're going to make a delicious dish I think we've made before, but we're going to change it up a little bit. We're making a chicken yakitori. We're making it on kebabs this time, like a shish kebab. We'll be using the chicken that we have left over, which is thighs. I always use thighs. We have a fresh pineapple. We have some onion pieces. And if you have green pepper or red pepper, you could add that in too. Either way is going to work great. We're going to make a delicious sauce. It's a little bit earthy. It's not a sweet sauce, but oh, is it delicious. You can serve this with rice. You can serve this with anything you like, or just eat it by itself. It's all...
Hey, Chef KenDad, Jimmy's ready.
Yes, you're here now. Jimmy Kimmel finally showed up, and with one of his friends, but he's supposed to be coming. Do you want to come out and try? I don't know what he's doing. Let me switch cameras. Okay, Jimmy, come on in.
Hurry up.
Stop pushing me.
Watch out for the dog. Oh, man, my hand. Let go of my... What in the...
This is all your fault, Jimmy.
What the hell happened?
Oh my God, someone call 911. You, in the mask.
Oh.
All right. Let's try.
You want me to apologize?
Now you'll notice this pineapple is not very ripe. It's ripe near the bottom. It's just the time of year right now. It's March. There's not going to be a lot of ripe pineapples out there for you to try. So we're going to have to do a little more cutting than normal, but I'm still going to show you the basics of how you can do this. Remember, a ripe pineapple does this much more easily. Much easier. Much more easier. All right, let's get started. For our vegetables, we'll be using leeks. I have 2 bundles. I'll be using a total of 6 bundles of white onions. I may or may not be using up my broccoli, but then again, why not? It'll taste good with everything, and it's left over. I want to use it up. Now, there are a lot of people... No way. How'd that get in there? That's not going in there at all. But we do have a beautiful, large, full tomato. Or is it a banana? Oh, it's a pineapple. We're going to use that today, too. Now, this is a soy sauce dish. It's going to be almost all soy sauce. However, we're going to make it a little bit different than we did last time, so we're going to be using a little bit of teriyaki with it. We're also going to be using mirin, a little trick of mine to add a little bit of body to it. We're going to use some worst sister sauce. We're also going to be using brown sugar. I have the dark brown sugar. You can use light. Next is rice. It's all up to you. You don't need rice with this. With the sauce I'm going to make, once we cook off the chicken and the skewers, the sauce that's left over is going to be delicious over rice. We're also going to be using sake. Actual rice wine, not rice wine vinegar, sake. As an homage to my very best friend, Uncle Roger, we're going to be using a little bit of MSG. It's a delicious flavoring. It got a bad rap in the 60s, just like anything else. In moderation, there's nothing wrong with this, and it's a great flavor. Now remember, folks, you can use chicken thighs, chicken breast. You could probably even use turkey. I always want everybody to understand that what I'm doing is not exactly how you have to do it. Improvise. Use what's left over. Don't waste any food. We are going into an era right now. Groceries are going through the roof. Improvise. There's no such thing as throwing out food. We have to find a way to use everything we have. It's been many years since I've done this. There is a way to properly separate all the segments of a ripe pineapple. This one is not right. The first thing you want to do is twist off the top of the pineapple. It's not as hard as it looks, but if you have trouble with your hands, your knuckles, your wrists, arthritis, anything like that, ask somebody to do this for you. Then lay it on its side. Then push down while rolling it back and forth. If it's ripe, then you will be just fine in doing this. And here we go. Usually what I just showed you, removing the top and rolling it, would be much easier on a ripe pineapple. But if you look closely at these, there's lines that go around each piece. So what we're going to do is, we're going to make a crown. We're going to cut in all the way around once. Now, just like I would tell my small humans on my classes, how do you know if your parents love you? They will give you a sharp knife. And I believe we're back at the beginning. You may have to do a little prying to get it, but it will come off. It's not always that easy. If this was much more ripe, it would work better. And this is where, if you want to make it fancy for people, you go through and you cut these ahead of time, like you would with a grapefruit. And if they're cut, you can remove one piece at a time and take a bite. I think a pineapple that is not 100% ripe tastes better because it's not mushy. This one could have probably gone a little bit longer to be a little bit sweeter, but it's okay. It's delicious pineapple. Remember, what I just showed you works really well on a ripe pineapple. You just have to do a little extra work to impress your friends if you want to do it like this. Now, we're not going to waste the top. Go around and get as much as you can. It's okay if you can't get them all. It's not right. Pre-cutting is worth your time because these are going to look great on a kebab. Delicious. I'm just going to follow these lines all the way around. And then you can see now, they pull off very easy. They separate nicely. Look at that. Keep going till you're done, and we're going to have a whole plate of pineapple. I'm doing it on a plate so I can catch any juice that falls. Now you may notice right here, we're not taking the core. The core of the pineapple is not as sweet. So by taking the pieces off and doing them in segments, we're leaving that core. But we're not going to let it keep us from getting all the pieces. Let me eat this one. Now here's a whole section. We can grate these. We'll do another one in the spring when they are ripe. While doing this, keep the sharp part of the blade pointing away from your hand. My hand is here, the back of the knife is toward my skin. So when I cut through, if it gives and falls out, the sharp part is going to move away from my hand. And it's getting a little easier to do down here. It's a little softer, it's a little more ripe at the bottom. We're almost there. We're almost done. Yes, we're making a mess. That's the kind of mess that'll be worth it in the long run. And I think that's going to do it for now. We can save the rest to give to my bird. So there we go. Core is still there. We're not going to eat it. Put all of our pineapple back on a plate because, yes, we made a mess doing this. And there we go. A nice plate of fresh cut pineapple. I've decided that we are going to use our broccoli. But this time, instead of cutting down and using just florets, we're going to be using the stems so that we have a solid stalk for the skewers of the kebabs. And there we go. Now we're going to cut our leeks. Remember, don't cut too big of a hole in them. They will leak everywhere. I did say that, yes. So let's start with one. Let's cut that off. Cut sections 3/4 of an inch, big enough. You want a skewer to go through them and hold them together. Handle them gently because they will fall apart. Here we go again. Ha! Just kidding. Cut this end off. And there we have a beautiful bowl of leeks. Yeah, I won't make another joke. Now I have 3 pounds here. I know because I weighed it. We bought a whole bunch for kind of a charity thing we were doing, and this is how much we had left over. It's already been rinsed. There are a lot of schools of thought on how to do everything. Everything I do, you'll find 25 ways to do it differently. Everything you find somebody else does, you'll find 25 ways to do it different. Do what's best for you. Washing your chicken in the sink is a bad idea because bacteria and everything that's on that chicken will splash out everywhere. You will never get all of it cleaned up. I rinsed this because it was in the refrigerator with a bunch of other stuff, and I believe it was grape juice got spilled on. I do not wash my chicken. I do not do anything that would splash anything anywhere. It's a bad idea. Now always remember, all chicken thighs are going to have fat on the end. I'm lucky because a lot of these are just pieces left over. Any obvious fat, get rid of it. Actually, being in little pieces is going to come in handy because they're already going to be skewer size, so to speak. Let's get this piece out of the way and look for any obvious signs of fat. You don't have to be quite as meticulous as I am. Fat is volume, fat is food. It's all up to you. So we're almost done here. And there we go, folks. No. That's got to be taken down too. Right on top, wasn't it? Whoops, into the other pan. 3 pounds of chicken that probably turned into 2 3/4 pounds. Time to clean our chicken area. This is my sanitized water. 1 cap full of bleach to every gallon of water. Remember, sanitizer is bleach. Bleach is sanitizer. Doesn't matter if it's crystallized, liquid form. That's what restaurants use and hospitals. Bleach is sanitizer. Now for our white onions. I have 4 bundles of these. We're not going to be skewering these. We're going to be putting these in the sauce and let them cook in the sauce. It'll help flavor the sauce. And when we put it over rice, any kind of rice, it's going to be so good. Let's get started cutting our onions. We'll get started on our sauce. And pretty soon we'll be eating. That's what it is, eating. All right, to make this quicker, line up the ends of all of them and just cut off the roots. And do that for every bundle. Now, wash your onions. Just rinse them in cold water, rub your hands over them, put them in a strainer, and let them drain. And there they are, beautiful white onions. Let's cut them. Remember, these are going to cook down in the sauce. All we're doing, cutting them in half. And we will let these marinate in that sauce, and they will be delicious. And there we have 4 beautifully cut white onions. We have our thighs ready to go. We have sections of pineapple, our white onions cut in half, our broccoli with stems on, and our leeks cut into big enough pieces to skewer. Let's get our sauce done and get ready to eat. Now, this is the part of the show where I tell you that I love Lodge cast iron. I only use cast iron when possible. Lodge wok, the Lodge frying pan, all cast iron. Remember, Lodge does not pay me to say this. I don't get a penny for it. I'm trying to tell you because I think it's the best way to go. Use what you like, use what you have. Now remember, everybody, the recipe I'm giving you is for 2 pounds of chicken. I'm using 3. So you would need 3/4 of a cup for 2 pounds of chicken. I'll be adding 1 1/2. Then you will need a 1/2 cup of water for the 2 pounds. I'm using 3, so I'm putting in 3/4 of a cup. If you're very new to this and you get confused about tablespoon, teaspoon, just remember, a table is big, a teacup is small. Tablespoon, teaspoon, the more you know. Then it calls for 2 tablespoons of mirin. Now, I've measured my 3 tablespoons into my cup. I happen to also know that 3 tablespoons equals 3/4 of a quarter cup. Again, remember, 2 tablespoons is for 2 pounds. So a tablespoon per pound. I have 3 tablespoons of mirin. Now for sake. This is true rice wine. This is not rice vinegar. It's sake. It's an alcoholic beverage. Tastes terrible. I don't know why people drink it. But if you're afraid of alcohol in your food, sake gives it a distinctive flavor. If you want to avoid that altogether, just use your rice wine vinegar. It won't quite taste the same, but I don't really know if you'll know the difference if you've never had it enough times in the past. So remember, when we use alcohol, cooking sherry, wine, we cook it until the alcohol is gone. But if you don't want to take a chance, there's always a substitution or just eliminate it. Since I've already filled up my measuring cup with my sake, there's my sake. Always remember, folks, there is a difference between liquid measuring cups and solid measuring cups. In this case, we're going to use our 1 cup measurer because there's no sense in dirtying another cup just for this. We need 2/3 of a cup of brown sugar for 2 pounds of chicken. So I added 1/3, came up with 1 cup, and there it is. If you ever wonder or have to wonder, the pouring spout is for liquids. When the measuring cup is solid all the way around, it's for solids. What we're going to do now is turn our heat on to medium. So I'm putting mine at 5 1/2. I'm going to be using a very rigid spoon with holes in it for stirring to get everything blended in the liquid. And we're going to let that get nice and toasty warm. And as soon as it's warm, before it gets too hot, we are going to transfer about 1 cup into our smaller frying pan. And here's the reason why. We are heating these so that they will thicken. We want them to reduce and thicken. The hotter the sauce gets, the thicker it gets. So the larger wok will be used for the final cooking when we want it marinated and cooking in the juices. The frying pan we're going to use to just fry off our chicken first. So we're going to cook the chicken in the sauce to get it cooked. Then we're going to marinate everything and then pop it in the oven on the skewers. Let's turn this on also to medium. Medium on mine is about 5 1/2. We're going to let these get hot. Now we can see that our first sauce is already warming up, getting nice and hot. So we don't want to lose that heat. We're going to turn it down just a little bit. If you like, you can even make a cornstarch slurry to thicken that up. It's all up to you. Meanwhile, our smaller frying pan is starting to get pretty hot. We're going to be adding the chicken pretty soon. Before we put in our chicken, we're going to put 3 doses of worst sister sauce into both pans. Let's add the chicken. Before you add your chicken, make sure there's not a lot of water built up in the bowl or plate that you have the chicken on. Drain that out before you put it in. And here we go. There's all of it at once. Now I'm going to turn the heat up a little bit. In this pot, we're not really going for the reduction as much as we're going for the marination. It seems I have skipped a step. We should have cut these 3 largest pieces down, so we're going to do that now and then return them to the pan. If you notice, I did not cut the pieces down too much. We want nice, good-sized pieces for our skewers. And our other pan, the wok, has reduced nicely. We're going to give it another stir, and we're going to turn it off. That on the side there is flavor. I just like to get it down into the pan if I can. Make sure you get your handle grip to protect your hand from the heat and move these around. Now that it's nice and hot, we're going to wait until the chicken gets cooked off a bit. It'll finish cooking in the oven, but we want to get it done now. Looks pretty good. Still feels a little bit rubbery, like we want it to cook a little bit more, so we're going to let it cook a few more minutes. Total time is going to be about 20 minutes in this pan. All right, now we're going to turn it off and we're going to let it cool and we'll get ready to start making our skewers. Once we skewer all of our vegetables and our chicken, we're going to cook them in these pans that used to be bread pans. Well, they still are, but we have new ones we use. What I did is I broke the skewers down short enough to fit in there, but we want them to cook a little bit longer with the vegetables inside the sauce. And I have more pans here. We'll be able to put all of it in there, it looks like. Perfect. While our sauce is nice and hot sitting there, we're going to put our onions in and let them kind of get hot and cooking with it. And we'll put a lid on it. Turn it on to the lowest possible setting. And there we go. Now let's make some skewers. Piece of pineapple, leek right through the side, piece of chicken, piece of broccoli, nice big piece there. Maybe another piece of pineapple, maybe just repeat the process. It's all up to you how you want to do this. And another piece of chicken. Perfect. Doesn't that look delicious? A little bit of red pepper on there would be fantastic. It fits nicely into our pan. So let's go again. Let's start with a piece of chicken this time. Push it all the way up. Piece of pineapple. Piece of broccoli. Let's get one of these big ones out of the way. Another piece of chicken. Another piece of pineapple. What else we need on there? Oh, we'll go another piece of broccoli right at the end. There we go. There's 2. These pans are going to be very useful. Let's just keep making them. Don't stab your finger. I'm not eating a piece. Maybe I did. All right, I have to try this piece. Oh my God, this is so good. I think some of the leeks are going to fall off. And there we have 12 skewers. Now I remove the onions. Let's preheat our oven. Put it on bake 365. And when it's preheated, we'll put these in the oven. In the meantime, pouring our sauce over these. Now I didn't have nearly enough sauce for as many as I made. So I'm making a double batch of sauce. I'm in the process of reducing it, and then we'll get them in the oven. Okay, now our sauce is ready. It's nice and hot. Let's add it. You hear it sizzling in the pan still. What we're going to have to do is rotate these so that every one of them gets time in the sauce. We're going to put these in the oven just like this for 20 minutes. You can eat them right then if you like. You can eat them now if you like. All right, folks, now you're going to learn something that I teach my small humans in my cooking classes on how to open the oven safely. I tell them to think about it like this. If you're cooking at 350 degrees and you open that oven, the air coming out is 350. If you're cooking a pizza at 450 or 500, you open the oven, the air coming out is 450 or 500. Enough to burn you badly. So here's what they do. Open it till it locks in place, and they have to count out loud. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Now, the hottest of the air has come out, and you can place your pans into the oven one at a time. Now that we have that in the oven and we have our timer set, let's get everything cleaned up, then we can start our rice. Cleaning now will save you so much time later and so much headache. And it's something I teach in my classes. That's my bird. He's hungry. He wants to eat. And here we go. Taking them from the bottom, putting them on top, taking it from the bottom, putting it on top. Oh, they smell just way too good to be true. Oh, some of it fell off. It's going to be okay. Get that one pushed in a little bit better. Once they're rotated, back into the oven for 10 minutes. Okay, here we go. All right, there's our timer for our chicken yakitori. Remember, lift it, tilt it, let the water run off, shake it, then set it down. There's 4 cups of water in there, which means we need 2 cups of rice. That's just 2 cups of rice right there for the 4 cups of water. It stops boiling immediately. We're going to stir it, bring it back to a boil. We're going to put the lid on, lowest possible setting. We'll set another timer. In the meantime, our yakitori is done. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Oh, that looks delicious. Just like anything coming out of the oven. These pans are very, very hot. Use something to protect the top of the counter where you're going to set them, like a towel. Okay, our rice is done. Our chicken is done. Our onions have been cooked. We're ready to go. Let's plate this up and let's start eating. All right, let's start with some rice. Ooh, it's sticky the way that everybody likes it here. I think that's going to be good. And we're going to come over here now with our rice. Let's get a couple that are actually in the juice. Ooh, does that look good? Yes, it does, by any chance you want to know. And that looks good right there. We're going to decorate it with a couple of onions. They got cooked nicely. And voila, or violin, however you want to put it. There you go. Isn't that a beautiful dish? I think that's fantastic. Now, all that's left is to try it. I'm going to call this finger food. Oh my gosh, that is so good. Yes, it is finger looking good. It is delicious. If you want, after you get to this point, you can put them in a broiler in your oven for about 10 minutes, darken the edges and make it a little bit crispier. It's all up to you. I'm going to take some of the sauce now. I'm going to put it over my rice. Oh, look at that now. Tell me that doesn't make your mouth water. All right, we're going to go eat now. Everybody here is going to go eat. Like I said, you can thicken the sauce if you like. It's all up to you, but that looks delicious. That looks beautiful. Some red pepper would have popped the color a little bit, but other than that, it's good to go. Now, if you're anything like me, you like your sauce thicker. This was cooking on the level of 6 for 15 minutes, and you can see it's starting to caramelize. It's getting really thick. If you watch with me, you'll see it's going to start to boil and foam. This is a reduction to make it thicker without having to use a cornstarch slurry. The slurry makes it thicker. This makes it more intense for the flavor, and I like it. See how it's breaking down? It's getting thicker. This took about 15 minutes on 6. We're going to let it go for another 5 minutes and watch what we're going to get out of it. You can see it starting to build up foam on the sides, starting to caramelize and get thicker and get all the stuff down from the sides. That's just flavor. That's flavor happening. That really thick stuff. This is worth working for if you like the thick, not strong. It's just it's an intense flavor, and it's so much better over rice. It sticks to the chicken better. So this is just another option for you. We're gonna give this another minute or two and keep watching it. That's my dog. One of my dogs. He's old. He's wondering where the food that got dropped went. My other dog got it. Now, we're not going to disturb it this time. We're going to let it cook down. Let it get thick. See how it's building up on the top and in the middle and around? We're going on about 18 minutes. Like I said, do this on 6. Don't burn it. Oh, look how thick that's getting. When it cools, it'll get really thick. Patience. Patience. I try to get it hot up there and melt it down. I have a daughter that likes it like this. That flavor is just something awful. Awesome. That flavor is just something awesome. Okay, 1 more minute. We're at 25. Okay, we're at 25 minutes. We're going to turn it off now and let it cool. That is some delicious sauce right there. Now we're getting delicious. We're putting the last of these right in that thick sauce. All of our pieces of chicken. Ooh, using our fingers. We washed our hands. We're okay. Let's move it around a little bit. Probably could just take them right off the skewers. Just get it right down in there mixed. All right, we're going to let that sit for a few more minutes. That sounded like such a good idea. I think we're going to do that. Just take these off the skewers. There's always ways to improvise. These are very hot, by the way. Don't do this with your bare hands unless you have the kind of hands that can handle that kind of hot. Oh, is that going to be good? That's not a question. Okay, there's our rice, and there's our mix with the thicker sauce. It's a much thicker sauce, a much more intense taste. Enjoy it either way. All right, folks, there you have it. A beautiful dish of chicken yakitori. There's a thin sauce, there's a thick sauce, rice. It's all beautiful, it's all delicious. Make it whichever way you like. Make your family happy, make this for them, and they'll be surprising you with cleaning the bathroom and the toilet and the bathtub and vacuuming the floors. And all right, that's not going to happen. But they will appreciate it. They will be happy. So I'm just going to ask you really quick. Please go to chefkendad.com, chefkendad.info. I teach small humans how to cook at Chef KenDad on outschool.com. Please like and subscribe. It's the only way I can grow. Leave some questions and comments below. Let me know how you liked everything. And there it is. Have a great day or week or month, whatever you want.
Why haven't we all been here helping Chef KenDad right from the beginning?